Welcome to YMCA of San Francisco's Classroom for All. My name is Alex, and today I'm going to be showing you a really fun arts and crafts weaving activity. So the materials that you'll need today are a paper cup, some scissors, a Sharpie, this is optional, and some yarn. So you can grab any color yarn, thick yarn if you want to. Today I'm using a medley of colors, so I have some black, gray, green, pink, and yellow, or golden yellow. All right, so feel free to follow along with me or just watch and do this on your own time at home. All right, let's get started. So today I'm going to show you how to make a woven cup with some yarn and our paper. So the first thing that we're going to do is grab our paper cup, and we're gonna mark some dots at the top where we're going to cut all the way down to the bottom of our paper cup. So we're gonna wanna make an uneven number of dots. So we're gonna space them out evenly around our paper cup. So I'm gonna show you what I'm doing first so you can get an idea. So what I'm gonna do is mark one dot or one line on the edge of my cup. You might not be able to see it very well, but it's right there. And then I'm gonna move over just a little bit and make a second line. So that's 2, or second dot right at the top, like that. And then I'm gonna do the same, about the same distance. So 3, and keep going, 4, keep going, 5, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots. Keep going, 6, and ooh, this one's gonna be a little bigger, that's okay, 7. So you're gonna wanna try to make it an uneven number, and you'll see why when we come to that in a second. But if you do get an even number, I'll show you how we're gonna work through that. But we're gonna mark where we're gonna cut. So I'm gonna actually bring this up closer to you so you can see it, just in case. So you can see I made these little black lines where I'm going to cut down towards the bottom of my cup. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut starting at one of those dotted lines, or that dotted spot, and we're going to cut almost to the way bottom of our cup. So as far as our kind of scissors let us go. So we're going to make a cut almost all the way to the bottom, just with like maybe a little tiny bit left of space down there. And we're gonna do the same thing over each dot. So we're gonna go straight down to the bottom so that we're gonna be starting to make these cool little like strips of cup. So that's the last, we're gonna use our scissors in a little bit with our yarn, but the last cut, and now we have a cup that we can't drink out of or really use anymore until we start using some of our yarn. So the next thing we're going to do is we're gonna cut some yarn that we wanna start with for our design, okay? So I have black right here, so I'm gonna start with black, and I'm gonna cut a decent amount. Not too much, because as the longer the string gets, the harder it gets to work with. So I'm gonna cut just a bit off of that yarn, and we can always add more, and I'll show you how we do that as well. So the first thing we're going to do is take that yarn and tie the end around the first, or one of the strips that we cut off of the cup. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that yarn, wrap that end around that strip, and then I'm gonna tie it to the bottom, or to the cup, okay? And I'm gonna bring it so you guys can see. I tied it right there, and it's sitting right at the bottom, okay? And you can always turn that inside towards the end, or we can cut it a little bit too when we're done with our project. All right, so here's the fun part, learning how to weave it through each of these little strips of cup. So what we're going to do is take that loose yarn And since this one looks like it's already over, we're gonna start this as an over, and we're gonna learn the pattern over, under, over, under, over, under. So every other one we're doing over, and every other one we're gonna do under, sorry. So what we're going to do is take that yarn and we're gonna take it and move it behind that next strip in line. So that it goes down and under that one. And you're gonna wanna pull it straight throughout so that it doesn't get all wobbly or funky looking towards the end. So that one counts as an under because we can't see it. It's underneath this strip of our cup. And we're gonna go over the next one. So we're gonna see that yarn over that top of that next strip. And then we're gonna bring that yarn back between that one and the upcoming one and behind the next. So you can see, you can pull it and it gets tighter. So you're gonna keep repeating that pattern until you kind of get to the end of your yarn. So I'm gonna show you over and over again so we really know what we're doing. So that one, the last one was under because we can't see it underneath that strip that it's right behind. So we're gonna go over the next one and make sure we feed it between those strips and behind the next one. So over, under, and then I have an even amount of strips here. So what I'm going to do is feed that over that one and under the next. So we're gonna have a different looking pattern. So if you have an even number of strips that you're gonna weave through, it's going to make it look like you have two overs next to each other when you get back to that starting point. And that's okay, we can make it work. So we're gonna go under, over, and then feed it through, under. And make sure you pull it tight so that it stays the way we want it to look. And then we're gonna go over, under the next one, and pull, and push it down so that it's right even with the bottom of the cup. So over again, under the next one. So you're gonna wanna see a pattern where you're not going over the same one again. So if you see that you're going over the one that you already went over right before this layer, then we messed up our pattern a little bit, but that's okay. You can keep going and then find your way to fix it towards the end. So that one was under. We're gonna go over this next one, under the following one. And then this is where we're gonna start to see some overlap. After you do your second layer, you're gonna start to see it coming together. So over, under, and then you can even get kind of inside here too. If it's easier for you to hold it like this, you can go over and under just like that and pull up instead. So if this is easier for you by holding it from the inside, you can do that too. We're gonna go over, under, and we're getting closer to the end of our yarn. And this is where we can change the color. And what I'm gonna do is leave that little bit of string there, and I'm gonna cut another bit of string that I wanna use. So I think I'm gonna take this green color and cut about the same amount of yarn that I did the first one, and put that off to the side. And then I'm gonna tie this new end to that last end of the black that we just used. So now we have our new string attached. And don't worry if there's anything hanging out, you can always cut those down at the end. So you're gonna continue going just as you were with the black, but you're gonna keep going with that green now. So we're gonna go over this one, under the next, and keep on going. Over, under, and push. And you're going to repeat this over and over again. You can try your own designs if you want to just keep, you can wrap the same way over, under, or under, under, over, and kind of skip some and see how a pattern forms. So there's different ways you can make this happen. You can use ribbon instead if you want to try that. There's also ways you can make this with a paper plate if you don't have a paper cup at home. It's in a similar way, but you'll have to fold up the strips that you make of the paper plate to make it work. There's so many ways you can make these. So feel free to try out your own type of yarn. You can try chunky yarn and see how that works in making one of these. The possibilities are always endless with this art craft. So now you're gonna start to see these layers of colors forming on the bottom of your cup. So I started with the black color, now I have my green, and now we're gonna keep adding different layers of colors throughout. So if you have that really cool color changing yarn that changes colors throughout, that would be a really cool thing to see in making one of these if you wanna try with that. All right, so I'm at the end of my yarn again. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a different color. And I think I'm gonna add this gold color to my weaving. I'm gonna tie that on. This yarn's a little thicker than my other yarn, so it's gonna maybe create a different type of texture or thickness to my weaving, and that's gonna be really interesting to see. And then we're gonna go under or over the next one where we ended off, and then under, and continue our weaving on as we did before. So it's gonna take some practice. If it's the first time you've ever done any weaving, this is a perfect introduction to learning how to weave different things together, especially yarn. There's different ways you can weave this kind of yarn. You can learn how to make finger weaving or little scarves with finger weaving, which is a cool gift to anyone if there's a birthday or holiday that's coming up. These are really cool ideas to make a gift for somebody too. There's also these things called ojo de Dios, which are little like woven yarn pieces, art pieces that you can hang up and use as decoration as well. And you use 2 popsicle sticks or 2 sticks, and you can use lanyard string, or not lanyard string, you can use friendship bracelet string or yarn like this and make a really cool design by wrapping it around the sticks. So this does take some time. If you can always come back to it later. It's super easy to pick up and finish at another time too, or take your time with it, or changing up the patterns. But it's a super fun activity to do with very simple supplies. Okay, so I'm at the end of my yellow, and I think I'm gonna repeat these colors because I really like them. All right, so as we come to the end of our weaving, you can do a couple different things to end your project. So one way is you can tie it to a string, or tie that end of your string to an inside string right inside of your cup. So you can tie it to one of those strings that you've already woven into your piece. Or you could like tuck it into it as well if you want to kind of add to it later. Another way you can do it is you can hot glue it down in the back of it, or you can also just tape it into itself as well. So there's a few different ways you can do that. So right now I have this really awesome woven pattern, and I think I want to keep it kind of tiny today just to save us some time and show you a different way that we can make our cups. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut off most of that top part of these cups that we have here. So I'm gonna go strip by strip so that I don't make any mistakes or don't make it too crazy for myself. I'm gonna cut it down just almost to where the yarn is. We're gonna give it some space just in case that yarn moves around. It doesn't fall off of our cup. Okay, So now we have this little tiny cup of our weaving, and you can see I still have some of these little stray strings here, so you can cut those down. And then there you have it. So if you want, you can put some tape or colorful tape on the edge to just cover up parts of that cup, or you can cut it down even closer and just glue down your yarn on the inside to make sure it stays in place. But these are perfect little trinket holders, so if you have any jewelry at home, you can put your jewelry in the cup. You can probably put some of your pens, or let's see, I have some markers here. You can have it be a little pencil holder or cup or pen holder for your arts and crafts supplies. It can be used in multiple ways. So next time, if you have a paper cup at home that you would either otherwise throw away, you can repurpose it into an art piece like this and gift it to somebody for the holidays or for a birthday, or just keep it for yourself and use it for whatever you want to use it for. And that's how we make a woven cup or trinket holder or pencil holder, whatever we want to call it today, using just a paper cup and some yarn and scissors. Thank you so much for joining me in our arts and crafts lesson today in making woven paper cups. If you want to join us for some more classes, you can go to our website at ymcasf.org/classroomsforall. We hope to see you all there. Bye.
Did you know that YMCA of San Francisco never closed? When shelter-in-place happened, we could no longer provide in-person programming. We quickly shifted to provide youth and family programming virtually. As early as April, we started providing on-demand activities in our YMCA of San Francisco YouTube channel.
For this video, we're going to be making a geodesic dome.
Today, we're going to be making a hovercraft. The science around this activity is really awesome.
In addition, we have a regular schedule of activities for our youth and families to join live. We feature read-alouds, yoga, family Zumba, arts and crafts, drawing clubs, and more. So don't miss out on our virtual youth and family offerings. Visit www.ymcasf.org for more info and class schedules.